What's up, Crypto Universe? It's me, Eugene Tay. You're watching us live on Rock the Block Live with my very special guest today, Zen Wu. Zen Wu, nice to meet
in the house.
So today we're going to try something a little bit different. You'll see the rest of my videos. It's very, although we tried to put it in a loft, but it has a bit of, a bit of jacket, rather a bit stiff. So today we have our drinks with us. We'll probably need a refill for that later on. But it's going to be like two guys at a bar checking out some of the latest ideas that Zen has. Because Zen is not new to business, and it's not new to Singapore at all. He's been here as early as 1995, one of the first pioneer batch from scholars from China, coming all the way down here without knowing a word of English, not even knowing how to do passport back then, right? And he ran Xanadu travel, who you consider agency?
Yeah, so Xanadu, which we built 5 years ago, right now is the #1 luxury travel platform in China.
Yeah.
So, it's a very successful business. We have Tencent, Matrix, Booster Capital, and our main institutional investor. This is our biggest institutional investor. It's 200 million revenue business. We're profitable, and I want to do something even bigger. Right? What's bigger than the world? Is
200 million.
we want. I think blockchain has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
We can really see that this can be a platform that really revolutionize the travel ecosystem. You could have an impact in a way that internet and mobile internet played in the last 20 years. Yeah. And I think that's very exciting. And we want to be the trailblazer in this new industry.
Yeah. There are also other blockchain projects out there that is dealing with travel.
Right.
What do you think is your game plan to make yourself stand out from the rest of the competition?
I think a few things, right? I think the blockchain project, ICO project, probably more than 2017 is a completely different market environment right now. Right? Really, at that time, it's almost like a money grab, right?
Yeah.
And at that time, they actually have a lot of white paper project, Aircoin project. They pretty much put together for the purpose of a PPT team, and the main purpose to get the money. And then a lot of time, once they get the money, they don't know what to do with the money. They look at the white paper, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And there's no real possibility even to execute that. And I think that was the time. And all of those companies started at that time, a pretty much team that couldn't raise funding in the venture capital world, right? Where people actually do just by fundamentals, etc. Yeah. And obviously, the time has changed. I think right now it's no longer a market like that. I think it's good and bad. Right? Obviously, the bear market is not necessarily comfortable in the short term, but in the long term, I think the team, actually the people that go into the market right now, they are aware that this is not a short-term sort of money grab. Correct. Right? It's all about, I think, at least speaking from ourselves, is we are a successful traditional venture-backed business. We build a business, we have global partnership, we have users in China, and I think now we basically want to use blockchain to see how can we apply it to travel industry and really do something bigger than what we have before. And I think that's sort of the difference. And also there are projects, previously coming out in the travel industry. Like I said, there are, a couple of them actually. I'm aware of, probably even more. But I think that if you really ask the travel industry, have you actually heard of any crypto project? The answer is probably no. It's really this problem is probably a little bit known within the crypto industry. Yeah. But if you're not a crypto sort of insider or investor, you probably never heard of it. And I think, being honest, I think the travel industry now looks at the crypto world with a cloud glass, with a sense of skepticism. Is it real? There's so much hype, there's so much unreal project, really spoiling their reputation about what really blockchain project is. And I think that is the situation right now. So we really want to, I think we're coming into the market right now as the only one, want to be the only one that is being seen by the traditional travel industry as a virtual product. And I think the advantage that we have versus all those previous projects, we're coming from a successful platform and business.
Which is almost like an unfair advantage because you have all the other blockchain projects that are coming out with great concepts, trying to reinvent the world. And then Zen Wu comes in with the Xanadu background, Tencent investment background, a whole list of backers that you have supporting a project with existing database of travelers.
Yeah.
And you go like, oh, it's almost going to be like, if I'm an investor, right, and I look at this project, it's almost like a no-brainer. It's going to be right.
I think I do feel confident about our project, and I think it does stand out from the crowd.
Yeah.
And in terms of different mix, I think the market's changing. I think nowadays investors, even in the crypto space, are shifting from that very FOMO-driven, speculative type of behavior into looking a bit into the fundamental.
Yeah.
Probably in 2017, they don't have to.
White paper, all right.
White paper,
Yeah,
and also being honest, even if you look at the fundamental, all the team look all the same, right?
Yeah.
If you're really building real business at the time, you probably wouldn't go into crypto in 2017. So I think that is the situation. But I think that right now, not every stock goes up. Right?
Yeah.
And it's no guarantee that investor will make money. I think they were being. I think a lot of investors are uncomfortable.
On hindsight, we can talk about that now because you know we have that clarity of vision. But back in 2017, were you caught up in that craze as well? Were you throwing money at projects?
No, I have to say that the whole ICO kind of thing came to me. I realized about it probably in early 2017, maybe 1Q, 2Q 2017. Because a friend of mine is actually started to running an ICO project.
Okay.
At that time, me and my friends is like, what? Because we know that he struggled so much in raising funding for this company. And this company, I think he met like 100 investors in the traditional venture capital space and couldn't get any money. And literally, I think he was 1 month away from really closing down the business, etc. And I think that ICO for him is almost a last resort, right? And then for this company, I think he couldn't raise $1 million on a $5 million valuation. Boom, it was $20 million on ICO market, right? So I'm just like, what's going on here, right? And I think that certainly, I think at least for me, I think taught me into spending more time to really understand what's the phenomenon. Obviously, it sounds crazy, and there's an element of unrealness into this situation. But I think the benefit of this, it does prompt me to try to understand what is this about. I haven't really studied the blockchain as much as I had before then. Right? I think it was a very interesting journey. I think actually when I really looked into, I unfollow it, but I also following the up and down of the whole market coming into 2018, etc. I think that 6 months of really going into with doubts and skepticism, really, a lot of skepticism. I'm asking, because I think, my CTO, a lot of my partners also have skepticism really about it. I think whatever we do, we need to convince itself. We are not going in the mentality of doing a money grab. We have a reputation to protect. We have our own real business to protect. We have like legitimate investor. We don't want to be seen as some sort of some crazy, arbitrage kind of guy going in, going for a short run, right? That's never going to be our objective into it. But I think coming out into that, looking into what blockchain means and how does it apply to travel industry, we're like, wow, this is actually, really interesting. There really is an angle. I was really impressed on this whole tokenized economy and with blockchain as a backbone, and how you can particularly restructure the economic distribution of many business models, and how particularly for travel, there's many pain points that exist right now, and it can be solved, right? I think one of the biggest excitement of that is blockchain allow us to disintermediate big platform, which are really take away too much economics at the detriment of consumer and merchants and business. And this is very particularly true in the travel industry. And it's a very consolidated market with very big dominant monopolistic player, both on the content side and on the transaction side. And it's almost like, and it's very difficult to fight incumbent, without blockchain. And then the blockchain opened as a new possibility with the tokenized economy. It's almost like it's fundamentally different from the previous model. I mean that is a discovery that really, really makes a strong impression. And I think another decision that we need to make is, what is worthwhile to do, right? Obviously, I think for people who has nothing, or like entrepreneur from with zero baggage, it's probably easier decision, right? If I fail, I fail, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, right? And if I can make a quick grab,
It's either 0 or 20 mil, right? What's the risk?
That's the risk. For us, I think that's opportunity cost. You
Yeah.
know, that's reputational cost. There's more consideration we need to have, but I think eventually what got us to be really convicted is we believe that blockchain is here to stay.
Yeah.
I think once we need to really believe that there's an irreversible course. You know, I think through the up and down,
Yeah.
and maybe it takes longer, you know, just like internet, you know, there's bubble, there's burst of bubble, but eventually we'll get to where we want, right? And I think if you believe that's the same thing with the blockchain technology, believe that it's gonna drive that vision to reality, and maybe that reality is 5 years, maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's 15 years,
Yeah.
and it's gonna happen, and you think that this is gonna be the trend, then it's worth jumping into.
It's like blockchain is actually the internet, right? Then you at the very start you have your Lotus Notes, your Yahoo, your Alta Vista, and now 10 years later you have your Google. So it's all about, I mean, the blockchain technology is there to stay as a backbone. You have all these other projects up there.
Different applications.
Yeah, that will come and go, and you're gonna have your competition. I just want to find out, because you said your friend got in and raised 20 million, he couldn't even raise 1 million on the traditional market.
Yeah.
What happened to the business now?
I think he's still his business still, I think, you know, keep his valuation. It's one of, you know, I don't make friends with dodgy people.
Okay,
This is not a money grab
Yeah.
situation.
'Cause I was
but it
thinking-
still says that it does in a way that in 2017 the people going to a different mentality,
Yeah.
right? And that is also a perfect storm.
Because I was in Shanghai and I was in a few of the China state in August when they shut down and had blanket ban in China. And I was quite appalled because in Singapore, at least, maybe because of our very strict, you know, upbringing, where we have to follow rules, right? You know, that's why we have, you know that, right? And when I went to China, the white paper, it's almost like a white paper campaign.
Right.
And I get people telling me, and these are like university graduates, legit businessmen, who says, oh no, just a white paper, raise money first and we decide what to do. And that was rampant around.
Yeah.
Was it at all tempting to even have a fake name or get someone else to raise money? Because it was a mad rush at that point in time.
Yeah, I think the market was there, but we had business to run, so I was never really so caught up in that whole kind of situation. I think, yeah.
And then I think if I may, what I like about Atlas World, is it Atlas or Atlas World? I don't know.
Atlas not WordPress, Atlas.
Atlas, right? What I like about the Atlas business plan, when I was looking through it, usually I try to look at the business plan of a particular ICO project and try to find where the unicorn might be. And try to find what is going to be the game changer. But as I was starting to read through the Atlas website, you guys, if you're watching this, and you should really check it out, it's atlas.world. Very easy, atlas.world. It's one of the better looking websites out there, well designed, well created. So when I read it, as a first impression, I was really blown away. But as I was digging through it and I was trying to figure out what is the unicorn, I realized there's one main thing that works for me from a blockchain advisor point of view, is that you're not trying to reinvent the wheel or trying to be a unicorn. You're not trying to build the next fantastic solution out there based on promises. You are taking whatever that people know right now,
Yeah.
removing the middleman, right? Making everything work just as it was.
Yeah.
It's almost like you onboarding new users
Yeah.
onto this platform, and if you are not into crypto, you would never know this is backed by blockchain at all. So the user acquisition portion is very easy.
Yeah.
You don't have to convince people.
I think it's all about adoption, right? So I think that right now there's a lot of rush into backing publishing, right? And I think, you know, I think a lot of investors into backing publishing. I think there's a few points I'm trying to say here. So I think, you know, first I think any project, any business, whether it's blockchain business or non-blockchain business, it's all come down to business.
Yeah.
You need to solve real problem. Anything you're not solving real problem, creating user value or vendor value is not a business. It's just gonna be hype, right? I think that is something people need to realize that, right? Blockchain project needs to follow the principle of business too, right? So I think what we're really trying to do is also try to see what the technology lies and using blockchain to solve real problems, and also use blockchain to solve the problem blockchain can solve, and not forcing using blockchain to solve the project blockchain is not very good at solving, right? So I think that is basically the approach that we're really taking. And I also really think that right now with the crypto world needs is a project that can really bring mass adoption, mass use case. If you really look at the crypto world, what is the number one application? Exchange.
Oh yeah, now it's exchange.
Exchange.
Soon it's going to be a wallet.
Bitcoin and exchange, right? So, and exchange is the one really making the money and creating a real value, because if you hold a cryptocurrency, you need to exchange to somebody else, right? You need to change from Bitcoin to participate in ICO, to change to Bitcoin, and then you need to, so they are creating a real utility. At least people can feel. But that utility is only given to people who already own crypto.
Yeah.
What about the big majority of mainstream people? They're never really gonna get comfortable investing the real money to transfer into Bitcoin and then use the exchange. Everything else is public chain. Right? Public chain is to a layer from consumer, right? Consumer is not gonna be relevant. What is the public chain trying to solve? Oh, providing high transaction speed to build a public infrastructure. How is that relevant for me? I don't even really understand that, right?
Yeah.
And then what's the real application? Then what's missing?
Yeah.
I think the people want to do this. In 2017, probably grab the money and run away with it, or the company really down to zero. Yeah. But that's what you need, because to bring blockchain into the mainstream, you need to get comfortable with people who are not comfortable putting their real money into buying crypto assets. How do you want to do that? You need to be creating a scenario where they're actually using blockchain and getting those tokens without a need of going through the conviction of buying them. So, for example, in the context of Atlas, when you're actually posting a travel content, you're getting orders into reward with a token.
Yeah.
When you're making a transaction, just like booking a hotel, you're rewarded with tokens. And those tokens, you didn't have to buy it.
Yeah.
You're actually just doing daily activity, and you're being rewarded.
So that's your proof of work.
That's actually, that's a proof of work, but also it's in a way that will also channel the economics of the platform back to people who are actually creating value, right? But also what I'm trying to say that then you started to give more mainstream people who never had any taste in cryptocurrency connection into the crypto world. I think that is going to be important for the overall cryptocurrency expansion and development.
You're a math genius, and I don't use that word like you. To you, math and science and logic, it's almost first nature, if not second nature. When you look at the blockchain and token economies, is that something you are innately familiar with? Like you get a high on building the token economies?
But I don't think token economics is a pure math question. It's more an economics question. I'm also an economics major in university. I think to really creating a model. I think token economic model makes sense. I think the central thesis is to decentralize the platform and give away most of the economic value to people creating value in the ecosystem. It's gonna be a more efficient ecosystem, right? That is the case, right? The current content ecosystem, you're looking at it, right? The travel content, who are big player? Instagram, who are TripAdvisor, right? This is $100 billion, $15 billion company, right? And who created content? Users, right? User creating all this photo that drive the traffic and people find it useful. They themselves is platform. But in the internet model, they just take it for granted. The platform owns all the data, and they monetize it through e-commerce advertising. And they keep everything. They don't give anything to the people actually creating value for the content ecosystem. Isn't that strange? And is that unfair?
And sometimes we incur costs just to make content for them to make money.
Right. And why is it so? Sometimes you ask why.
Yeah.
I think why is so because first at the beginning, consumer never realized content has value.
Yeah.
And second is that's how the internet model evolved. Last 10 years, that's the way it is. They create this model. And it's always been the way like this, and there's no alternative, right? Right now you post on Instagram, post on TripAdvisor, post on another Singapore whatever app, nobody pays you. It's just everyone follow the same model because what's platform role is to maximize profit for the equity shareholder. So they have no incentive to really do it. And before there's blockchain tokenized economy with exchange to convert a cryptocurrency into real value, that kind of sort of ecosystem possibility, you also don't have a viable alternative. What's a viable alternative, right? You can't just say I'm creating a platform that They don't make money. Oh, you don't make money is fine, but you still need to have an economic incentive for the team, for the investor to make sense of this, right?
Yeah.
So I think the beauty of the tokenized economy, it allows you to rethink about how it works, align people together. It's no longer zero-sum game between platform and content creator. If I pay you, I lose some profit. And that's the way it is. Tokenized economy in a way that I think the platform cares about how do we grow this ecosystem. If people creating value are getting compensated, obviously they're going to create more content, better content than a platform that doesn't compensate them, right?
Yeah.
And as the ecosystem grows, which is the objective of the platform, to create it as efficient as possible, and then the ecosystem reflects a higher value in the token that drives the economy. And everybody's interests suddenly become aligned. Tokens are given to people creating the content. We, as a platform, still own big reserve into the content. So our objective is all about how do we create a better ecosystem. As much of content as possible, and everybody will benefit from that ecosystem. I think that's one way of really thinking about it.
And you have a first-class degree in honors from Warwick and also Tokyo University.
Yeah.
So you're also a banker,
Yeah.
and you do with PE, and at the same time you're a content creator, which is on the creative side.
Yeah.
We have this dichotomy now in the ecosystem where the bankers versus crypto players.
Yeah.
But you nicely settled between both and using your knowledge of economy to layer it onto Atlas. What's your take looking at this industry as a whole, coming from the lens of a banker or ex-banker?
So crypto also travel.
Not travel, but crypto as a whole, the whole industry. Talking about economy, various different moving parts.
I think it's actually really interesting. I think the traditional right now, I think in the VC world or the investor world, there's classic investor,
Yeah.
classical investor, and the blockchain crypto investor. They're almost like, so in a way, before it's almost like a bit of a parallel universe, right? And in a way that the people are quite different, the behavior is different. I think the whole token investor is very speculative because they can get rich quite quickly. It's very liquid. You can own the stock, sell it in 6 months' time once you get exchange. Traditional VC and private equity investors, they have to wait for a long time, right? You invest in a company and it will 5 to 10 years for it to go IPO. Then you can exit or get sold, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, venture capital look at fundamental more. Look at the team, look at the business thesis. This one looks at almost a trader, looks at short-term, up and down, trading information.
Yeah.
Okay, so your crypto investor will likely to more care about which other fund investor, who are the investors, the FOMO and the rumor, rather than they don't even care what this business is about.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that is a bit of the, obviously I'm simplifying it, but I think it tends to be a bit different, short-term versus more fundamental driven. But I think also the world is converging in a sense, more and more you start to feel like this short-term vision is not going to last forever. So it's really the music kind of stop, right?
Yeah.
You still need to realize blockchain project needs to be judged by the fundamental. Who's the team? What's the business model? Can they actually build something and create value for the society, for business, for consumer? And do they have execution ability? How do they do marketing? Etc. Right? I think that's what's converging. And you also start a lot of traditional investors crossing the line to become crypto, right? So I have many friends, trader, Goldman, Morgan Stanley, not going to do market making, secondary market. We have traditional venture capital funds, investor now setting up their own kind of investment fund in the crypto space. I think the others tend to be younger people. They see the new trends going, just like me, traditional venture entrepreneur crossing the line. So I think the good thing is you are seeing talents, elites in 2018 making the cross rather than 2017. You find that the level of people participating in the last couple months is become much higher.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, right? Before the crypto investor typically see them is like they somehow get lucky, stumble across in 2017, suddenly boom,
2016, 2017 is all
a lot, and a lot of them just like nerds, or whatever, like people somehow stumble to the crypto world early, and a lot of times really they don't know how to do fundamental analysis. They don't have the experience. That's why they can only make judgment based on the previous experience, which is here and there, right? Now you're seeing that the team also the same, right? So now you're seeing that the team, started getting better with a little more long-term objective, better team. You're also seeing that legit investor with the training and the background, PE, venture capital, not going to market. They call it 降维, right? So you're almost like 降低 in the way to go into the new market. So I think those people are gonna be more competitive, gonna be better in this game. Also, hopefully, will bring the game into a more of the right direction.
Yeah. Some of the old economists, they actually say that crypto is shit, it's bubble, it's not going to work. And these are actually famous people, even down to Jamie Dimon, right?
Jamie Dimon, yeah.
So, what's your take? I mean, you're from the new school of thought, obviously, and these guys are old money.
Yeah.
Are these dinosaurs? Is what I'm hearing is there might be a rift even in the business world, in the banking world, where the new guys are now going over towards this technological side.
But I think Jamie Dimon has come from another generation, right? You start seeing real market-leading venture capital fund, private equity, really switching to token, right? You start Sequoia, you start seeing A16Z, Matrix, some of the example. I think people realize tokenized economy are creating real potential revolution, even though it's early days. And I think the funds start to realize that. You started having CNBC really start covering news on the crypto world. I think a lot of criticism about it is also probably correct. This market also full of a lot of flaw. It's very obvious and it's very frustrating too, right? The way currently the ICO run, the way that FOMO is formed, the way that people.
It's very annoying because you got your pump and dump, you got your blind people just running into the funds, or fear of missing out on the FOMO and then getting burned.
Yeah.
And all it's cowboy down still.
Exactly, that's killing the market. And then individual investor feeling that they're being misguided, they are not making money, and the market is, and all the fund, is trying to create that kind of emotion to 割韭菜. It's basically, rip those people's money, and then that's not the way it should be, right? And also because of lack of regulation, things exist. Exchange is not regulated. They can market making at the same time.
Correct.
And they, all these different things that currently exist. But I think it's early days. Things hopefully will sort out itself. I think people coming to the market also want to say, I think exchange realize that if they kill the market, they are the one to lose.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, right now they are printing money. If the market doesn't exist, their income gonna shrink.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody trades. Nobody buys. And etc.
What are some of the changes that you want to see happen in the market? Because you're obviously, I'm sitting here talking to you.
Yeah.
You and I would consider you a leader and almost a pioneer in trying to revolutionize you.
Yeah.
What are some of the industry you want to see catch up on this trend? As a user,
I just hope that there are more companies for real in coming to the market. I'm doing travel industry, but I'm sure that other industry can really use some real use case as well beyond just exchange, right? I think as more and more projects with real use case coming to the market, it's going to help the crypto. It's going to help mass adoption. It's going to help people to really understand and try to clear the sort of bad reputation in a way of crypto project, right? I think that's needed. And I also want to have investors that's more gonna be ethical. They are more about long-term fundamental than short-term driven. They're more about helping the company to grow and reaping the profit along the way, rather than a lot of times some investors could be even against the company they actually invest. They actually want to ask the company up, right? Because they are. I mean, they probably don't. They're just doing sort of selfish behavior, right? Once they invest, they want to be the first one to get out. But they know that by pumping all the shares, sometimes against what they promised the company, they leave the company in a very vulnerable position, right? I mean, sometimes it could be a good project. Let's say they raise money from 50 different funds. Obviously, those funds, they could be just all selling out on day one, right? So when that happens, no matter how good this project, if 50% of investors selling on day one, it's very hard for them to recover.
Yeah.
And people who doesn't have too much knowledge would think that what will really happen, right? So all those kind of things is.
I would imagine you will lock up your investors for at least good 6 months to a year.
Yeah, but it depends on when you lock up, right?
Yeah.
Does it lock up from the day you receive your token or the day you get listed? Most of the time you lock up from the day you receive the token. From the time you get onto the exchange, that may take some time,
Yeah.
right? And then people upgrade exchange, etc., etc. So by the time and when there's a lot of things that like that happen. And I mean, obviously investors need to look for their own interests, etc. But I just think that the idea, they should be more aligned with it.
Actually, that's an area that I want to talk about. I mean, in fact, I think you covered a lot of points that I want to ask. Thank you so much for that. But just right before we head off, I think this is quite important. You have a lot of backers, powerful backers. And at the same time, you just brought up a very key point about not having investors controlling you. Is there any tip on how to actually handle investors? Because when you're a small startup as an entrepreneur and you go up there and a big guy comes in and says, yeah, I want to invest in your company, these are my terms. Yeah. Any advice or what should you say?
It's very difficult. I think our project right now in a more vulnerable position, especially when market's bad, right? When market's good, we probably don't care, everybody wants to be in. But I think good projects still have relatively good bargaining power. But still, I think the market right now is not really that favorable, and that's why I think some of the funds also more playing a game is not good for the long-term success of the environment. And you know that by doing certain things, they are gaining that short-term benefit. But at the end of the day, if you code the market, it's not good for the long term.
Okay.
I think that short-sighted thinking is what really sometimes is very annoying, and also I think that because a lot of the funds are not looking at fundamentals and they are very much doing kind of FOMO type investment, just like whoever invest. So in making that, getting a few big brand name become really important in the market, right?
Yeah.
So the game just become a little bit twisted, So from a traditional, in the venture capital, it's more pure. People like a company.
Yeah.
They pay for it. Well, same round, same valuation, right? People don't cross the line to screw each other.
Yeah.
There's a more level of, I think consensus or.
But blockchain is supposed to be even playing field and full of love and consensus, but at the same time you have all these bad players coming in trying to profit for themselves.
And also because of bad behavior, they're killing some of the people. They're killing a lot of new investors coming in. When there's no new investor coming in, people start to make money from each other.
Yeah.
That's
what's happening right now.
Happening right now, right? So I think people are seeing that. I think that collectively, that few things need to happen. First, I think people realize that they self-control their own behavior, so that for the long-term benefit of the society, of the ecosystem. I think people are starting to realize that. Now you also need good project to raise the profile of the crypto industry. Just like internet, right? Before internet's real use was never so popular until Yahoo came along, until Google came along. There's no big impact until APP start having games, having iOS creating app that have many successful games, have WeChat creating other scenario, very popularized the use of mobile phone, etc., etc. So also I think a few things need to happen. Good legit project need to come out into the crypto space, help to bring that mass adoption, help to clear the name. The player itself and exchange, everybody need to suddenly realize, okay, if we keep on playing this short-sighted game, eventually it's not good for everyone, right? So you need to self-regulate. I think humans are adaptive, right?
Yeah.
Once they realize this game is not going to continue like this,
Definitely.
they need to regulate their behavior in certain ways. So hopefully they do it soon enough. Hopefully, I think if it talks a lot of fun, they'll realize that. But yet they don't want to do that, right? Because for the self-interest. But I think consensus somehow needs to be formed, and hopefully the industry.
So we're hoping that the greater good will emerge and rise to the top. So this is Atlas, and Zen Wu gave you guys a lot of insight about token behavior, market behavior, and what's almost I would say the blueprint for how to save cryptocurrency. You know?
Wow. I'm a newbie here as well. I don't want to be trying. I'm just offering my 2 cents. I think I'm sure that there's some flaw in it.
Your 2 cents might be worth 2 cents today, but I want
Too
to
much
market tomorrow.
So bring the alcohol if anything.
Sure.
Doesn't make sense.
Then we have the camera for you to talk to your fans for the next 30 seconds. Anything you want to say to them?
Well, thanks Eugene for having me here. Good whiskey, and I think Alice is an honest project. I really want to do some good to the society, and we really want to use blockchain as a technology to bring more economic equity into the travel industry. Essentially, we want to disintermediate the current profit, the mad profit actually driven by the platform, centralized platform, and giving more back to the people creating the value, which is consumers creating the content, which is vendor providing the goods and services that we actually buy. And I think that is our goal, and I think blockchain can really make a difference in this regard. So go to alice.world and check out our project and support us.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Eugene Tay. This is Zenwo. You're watching Rock the Block Live. Signing out. Cheers.
Cheers, man.